Hi guys, today we are going to talk about ICP. Does it still have the potential to grow to $20, $40, or is the project completely dead and the token will never recover? Right now everyone's disappointed in ICP, nobody believes in comeback and most people think it's over. But personally, I'm buying it right now and I will explain exactly why. If we look at the chart, we can see that the token is sitting at its all-time lows, exactly like it did back in October 2023 when it was trading around $3. After that, it pumped all the way to $20 and then came a correction like on most altcoins, but ICP held up really strong, just like Solana did. At that time, everyone thought the big players had serious plans for this token because it dropped way less than the rest of the market. Then the pump started again, and when the price hit around $15, people were sure it was heading to $50, $80. But as we remember, in December the market reversed and all altcoins started to crash except for a few strong ones like Solana, Ethereum, XRP and so on. ICP, however, fell together with the rest and corrected by almost 80%, now sitting right back at its lows. And honestly, that's a weird picture because you won't find a single old altcoin that already had a strong pump and then completely fell back to its all-time low. Let's take two examples, one successful project and one less successful. The first one is Solana. Just like ICP, Solana also started pumping in October, going from $20 to $200. In May, it corrected about 30%, while ICP corrected a bit more, around 50%. Then in November, Solana started another strong rally and ICP also began to rise. But after the market reversal in December, the two assets behaved very differently. Solana dropped about 65% but quickly recovered back to around $200, while ICP did the opposite. It kept falling non-stop, just like some random meme coin on Solana. The second example is Avax. It also pumped back in October 2023, going from $10 to $60, and no matter what happened after that, it kept trading above its previous lows. You can't say the same about ICP, which just kept breaking down lower and lower. Overall, the situation with ICP doesn't look great. If we look at daily trading volumes, back when ICP was trading near its local highs, the average was around $100 million per day. Not that much for a market cap of $8 billion, not enough to start proper distribution. And right now daily volume is only around $30 million, almost the same as it was in October 2023, right before the pump. Based on everything I have said, I see two possible versions of what's happening. The first one is this. If we look at the investors behind the project, we can see the elite of crypto funds, A16Z, Polychain, Sequoia Capital and others. That means all the tokens are in the hands of different funds. They started pumping ICP back in October 2023, but it looks like they couldn't agree on the terms of the pump and distribution. Maybe someone wanted a bigger share and that's when the war between the funds began. One after another, they started dumping the token to knock out their competitors. At some point, one alliance of funds will get tired of this and sell their tokens through the OTC market, while remaining funds will buy them out and take full control. Once that happens, they will finally start pumping the token again, and that's when we can expect the real move with massive upside potential. The second version is simpler. The project team might have run out of money and the funds aren't in a rush to support them. or it's because the project was listed in a messy way, full of scandals and accusations of being a scam, and maybe that's exactly what it turned out to be. What we saw in the fall of 2023 could have just been an exit pump, which would be pretty sad. Now, why did I still buy ICP and expect something from it? If the first version is true, the fund war, then sooner or later they will either come to an agreement or one fund will win, buy out the rest and take over the token. When that happens, ICP will most likely be pumped again to new highs above $20. But if it's the second version, that $7-20 was the exit pump zone, then the token has been falling for almost a year without any proper bounce, just like many other altcoins. Still, daily volume is only around $30 million with a market cap above $1.5 billion, which means they physically can't sell large amounts of tokens. So even if they don't have long-term plans for the project, they will likely make one more exit pump just to get some volume and liquidity. In that case, I expect ICP to reach around $8-10 before starting to fade again. That's roughly a 3x from current levels. Not bad at all, even in the worst case scenario. But if you look at the first version, that everything happening right now is just manipulation, then the potential for this token is huge. Doesn't this current ICP chart since December 2023 look familiar to you? Let's compare it to what we saw before. It's the exact same pattern. First pump, then a tight sideways range, then a sharp short-term spike, after a dip and second top, and after that a 50% drop. Everyone thinks it's a discount, and then another minus 50%. We saw the same thing again in 2024. First pump, after sideways, final spike, after 50% dump. People think it's cheap, then another 50% down. The same exact market maker playbook twice in a row. For the last year, the whole market's been bleeding non-stop, and you can literally feel the hopeless vibe in the air. But that's now how crypto always works. Charts can't go down forever. At least once a year, we always get a strong bullish wave. That's how it's been through the entire history of this market. That's why I'm expecting growth to start again by December, and ICP could be one of the best setups for that pump. Market makers love to pump and distribute in 3 waves, with the third top slightly higher than the second, just when everyone starts believing it will go to the moon. So here is what I expect. We might stay flat around $3 for another month, but then we will see a quick move up, just like in October 2023, fast and sharp, so no one even has time to react. That will send ICP into the $10-12 range, followed by a small correction of around 20-30%. When that happens, everyone will think it's start of another dump and sell. And that's exactly when big players will buy back and send it up again into the $20-25 range. After that, we will likely see one more final pump toward to $30 with the small pattern as before. Correction, dip, second push up, and then distribution. If the overall market stays positive, seeing ICP at $25 is totally realistic. That would be around $13 billion market cap, which is completely fine for a project like this. And trust me, when ICP hits $25, people will suddenly remember that the best funds invested in it, that their average entry was around maybe $10, and they will start saying it's still cheap, it's going to $1,000, and that's exactly when we will be taking profit, locking in our 10x and not falling for this hype. If you want to see my trades, farming setups and all my airdrop strategies, check out my Telegram channel, link in the description. That's it for today, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.